Hi everyone, thank you for joining me for the online version of our Study Abroad 101 session. I'm really excited to be bringing this presentation to you today online because we've been wanting to have this available to you for a while. I think it's a great resource because if we're not on campus as we are right now, or if it's a scheduling conflict for you because when we do offer these in person, it doesn't work for you, or if you just need to return online and you want to jog your memory about something, you can access this presentation at any time from the comfort of your own homes. This is a general information session for getting started on the study abroad process. I'll talk about the different programs we have available to you at UCF and the resources that are out there for you. So my name is Kristen. I work as a coordinator at UCF Abroad. These are just some photos I have of my own personal study abroad experience. The cool thing about our office is that all of us really do have international experience, whether that be from studying abroad or living abroad or even working abroad. So personally, I did two of those. I studied abroad, but I also worked abroad. I taught English after I graduated. So I went abroad my junior year in the spring. I went to Seoul, South Korea with something called a partner program through CIEE at Yonsei University. So for me, this was a very personal experience because I am a Korean American adoptee. So this was a way for me to connect with my culture, learn the language. And for a lot of students like me, studying abroad is one of our first opportunities to go abroad. So I was very nervous, but excited at the same time. And it really was a life-changing opportunity. The other great thing about going through this program was that I was an English writing major, and surprisingly, they do offer upper level English classes. I needed to take English lit classes, and they were offered in English, but I got to take those classes with other study abroad students, but also mostly local Korean students who were studying English and were English majors. So that was a really cool kind of cross-cultural way of learning for me. These are just some photos of my experiences, mainly during the orientation period. On the top left, I got to participate in a traditional Korean cooking class. In the middle, I participated in Taekwondo. It's a martial arts class in Korea. K-pop concerts, I went to a lot of those. The bottom left is a picture of the university, and these are just going around the city. During orientation, CIEE had this really cool scavenger hunt. So we got to know the city really quickly because we had to take a subway, take pictures at landmarks, and whoever got all the photos first and returned to Yonsei University won a prize. So I thought that was a cool way to have an orientation program and to learn how to get around really quickly. So as I mentioned, after studying abroad, I actually went to teach English in Korea. This was after I graduated, and it was through a program through the U.S. Department of State called Fulbright. Fulbright is offered in countries all over the world, and they have different opportunities. I did an English teaching assistantship where I taught English, but they also have opportunities like grad school programs, and also they have research opportunities. So if there's somewhere you're interested in going, I encourage you to look into it and think about applying for it. It was a really invaluable experience because a lot of these opportunities to teach abroad do actually occur in Asia because they really want their students to learn from native English speakers. So there's other programs specifically in Korea like EPIC or Talk where they do pay for you to go abroad. They'll cover your airfare, they'll pay for your living expenses, and you'll also earn a stipend in Fulbright's case, or through EPIC, you get a salary and they have a pay scale and grade based on your experience. The real requirement is just that you have a bachelor's degree from a native English speaking institution. So for me, I got to teach elementary school students, 3rd through 6th grade. And as an English major, I wasn't sure if I wanted to go into teaching or not, but this was a good experience for me to get in the classroom and also study in Korea and live in Korea again. During my breaks, I got to go to Seoul and study Korean again and work on my language skills, but also a lot of my coworkers, or we call them co-teachers, who are Korean teachers, I got to speak with them, which helped me improve my language immensely. But also, I think that the unique thing with Fulbright is that you serve as a cultural ambassador. You represent the USA. So you're kind of displaying a different identity of what it means to be American. Everyone has their own experience, and I think that's a huge contribution in the classroom and also outside of the classroom. And the other thing with Fulbright Korea specifically is that you do not teach in the capital city of Seoul your first year. You can renew up to 3 years. I taught in a city 3.5 hours outside of Seoul, so students or Koreans who don't normally get to interact with Americans or native English speakers get this invaluable opportunity. So I think it's great for both you and for the Korean teachers and students at the school that you work with. So here's the agenda of what I'm going to inform you about today. I'll talk a little bit about our office, my coworkers, what we do at UCF Abroad, why we think you should go abroad, when and where you can go, some of the common myths associated with study abroad, and I'm going to bust those for you today, hopefully. Some of the program types we have available at UCF, your next steps on getting the process started, and some Q&A. So here's a list of some of the common myths associated with study abroad. First, one of the biggest ones we get is I need to speak another language. That is not true. All of our programs are offered or have offerings in English. As I mentioned, I managed to take upper level English classes towards my major in Korea. So there are a lot of opportunities for you. The only case in which you would need to speak another language is perhaps if you wanted to pursue an immersive foreign language experience, and those classes are taught only in that language, or if you are fluent in a second language and you happen to want to take those types of courses. It will delay my graduation. This is also not true. We work with you to select a program that will not delay your graduation. We want to make sure that you pick a program that has the courses you need and fulfill degree requirements. And it's also part of the reason why we strongly recommend you to start planning early. Generally, I say at least 2 terms before you intend to go abroad is a good time to start planning. And another thing to keep in mind is that some programs you are going to be getting an international transcript at the end of your program. So that's another reason why you don't want to go abroad the same term you're graduating. Even the term right before you graduating is cutting it a little close. There are cases where students can do that, but we don't really recommend going abroad the same term you intend to graduate, because processing your transcript and filing to graduate all can take time, and that could delay you, which we do not want. Next is, it isn't valuable for me. I talked more about it from my own personal experiences, but I believe study abroad has academic benefits, also professional, which I didn't expect when I was going abroad that it would lead me in this direction, where now I'm working and study abroad. But also there are opportunities for you to grow and develop personally, I think. So value is definitely something that you can determine for yourself, but also I think it's good to just learn in another environment, engaging in those high impact practices where you're not just learning in a classroom, you're also learning in an environment that's different. Maybe they have a different learning system, such as in Asia, they tend to focus on rote learning, which is more memorization. Maybe you'll discover new study techniques. But also, I think it's good that if you want to learn a foreign language, what better way to learn it than to be in that country, immersing yourself, interacting with the locals, experiencing their culture, all reasons that I think lends itself to why you should study abroad. Next is, my college does not offer anything for my major. That's also not true. The only programs that are major specific really are going to be those exchange programs, which I'll discuss a little later. But more traditionally difficult majors do have options. They just might require you to be more flexible. Majors like that, like biomedical sciences, health sciences, there are opportunities, but I think that leads into why I can only study in Europe here also. Europe is definitely a great opportunity. Italy, France, I think they're amazing programs, and I don't want to downplay that. However, if you have a major such as health sciences that lends itself to studying in Latin American countries, like Peru has some great programs, there's Costa Rica, I think that you should just keep an open mind and be flexible. I encourage you to consider all of the options available to you when you're making your choice on what program you want to apply for, because you might find a better program in a country you didn't think of studying in. Lastly, it's too expensive. There's a lot of scholarships and grants and opportunities for you available there. Also, during the advising process, we want to pick a program that considers your budget. So if budget is your number one priority, we can help you find a program. But again, I encourage you to be flexible and open-minded about location, duration, all of those areas. And it really takes into account weighing what's most important to you and kind of prioritizing what's most important in terms of your study abroad experience. So these are some photos of my lovely colleagues. Dr. Wayne Bowen is our interim director. He is also the director of the Interdisciplinary Studies program at UCF. Darren Kane is our assistant director. She works with exchange programs. I'm going to skip to the bottom because Arvin is our program assistant. He works with Darren on exchanges, both incoming and outgoing students. Oliver McSorley is our other assistant director. He works with UCF In. These are also known as short-term or faculty-led programs. He also works with partner programs and internships. James Emer is our financials person. He's a coordinator, but he also advises generally and also on partner programs. I work as a coordinator. I work on partner programs, but I also help with UCF In programs, those short-term programs. And Alfredo Gonzalez is our Peace Corps representative. So we all kind of wear a lot of hats in our office. You might be working more closely with one of us depending on what program you pick or what area you want to study in. For partner programs, Oliver, James, and I like to divide based on region, but we're all available and able to help you with all programs. So what do we do here in our office? We're here to connect, advise, manage, and support during the process. So what does that mean? For Connect, study abroad isn't limited just to UCF Abroad. You're going to be working with other UCF offices. You're going to have to work with financial aid, registrar, academic advisors, all those areas. It's a collaborative effort. So you definitely want to make sure you connect with all those resources that are available to you, and we'll make sure you get in touch with those people. We're here to advise you from picking a program to applying throughout the whole process, and that's what Manage also plays in part to this, where we're really here to guide you from step one, getting an application in on our website, applying for the program, making sure you pick courses that work for you, and finding the right program, and ultimately getting you abroad, going through the pre-departure, all that fun stuff. And support, we're here for you with any questions you have, but also making sure we offer things that are very important to you, like international health and safety, UCF Global, we're in that building. They actually work with you. We have an international health and safety team who will monitor where you are 24/7 and make sure that you're safe and sound. So why go abroad? Actually, fewer than 1 in 10 American students head overseas. I would love to see that statistic increase. You can be part of the number of increasing students, hopefully, that do actually study abroad. So some of the reasons we encourage you to go abroad, as I talked about and touched on briefly in the myths section, is you can study and learn differently. You'll be in a different environment, exposed to a new culture, and maybe you'll learn some new things that you didn't know about before. You'll gain a more global mindset, see the world. There is a lot of time, usually depending on what program you pick, to travel on the weekends, or maybe before, even after your program, you could go to different countries. So you're not limited just to the country you're in, and even just the city you're in, because when I lived in Korea, I traveled a lot outside of Seoul and went to other cities, which all have different experiences, as I'm sure you're aware of. Kind of like the US, every city has its own culture, so to speak. You can meet diverse people and friends. I made some true lifelong friends through a partner program because I studied with students from other universities within the US, but then there were also international students from like New Zealand, Australia, not to mention the domestic Korean students that I became friends with, and I'm still friends with them today, and I studied abroad in 2013, so there's definitely lifelong relationships that can develop out of that. Personal and professional development. As I mentioned, I learned the language, I connected with some family and friends in my culture, but also I ended up realizing that I wanted to work in international education from my experiences, and I also taught abroad, so there's definitely room there for professional development. There's career opportunities, you can learn another language, and this really does lend itself to giving you a competitive edge on your resume and with employers. So this is a little infographic I made. I looked at some research through the University of California, Merced, and these were some interesting statistics on career paths, employability, resume, all professional experiences, and how study abroad can benefit that. So actually, 34% of students said that their study abroad experience helped them choose their future career. It definitely started pushing me in the right direction, and my Fulbright experience helped me with that. There's increased employment of study abroad students. You can build valuable skills. So, I mean, study abroad can really teach you to be more adaptable, more flexible, and increase those problem solving skills. And students who studied abroad, it said that they earn 25% more than their peers who did not. And also, it looks great on a resume, as I mentioned. It can boost your resume and interests potential employers who value international experience, which might be really good for business students in particular, as the world is becoming smaller as we increase our resources, we become more global, we have access to things like technology and the internet. So I do think having international experience is definitely important. So I also looked at IIE's Center for Academic Mobility Research and Impact. They did a report on gaining an employment edge. They analyzed the impact of study abroad on 21st century skills and career prospects in the United States. So they compiled a list of both 15 soft and hard skills, which builds on the competencies identified in prior US and European research as most desired by employers. And I linked it down here, but you can read the full report if you're interested. But on the next slide, I highlighted the skills that study abroad did actually show to help students improve in, but also these are skills that are desired by current employers. So there's those communication skills. I mentioned being more flexible and adaptable, definitely intercultural skills, language skills, problem solving, all of these things which study abroad is shown to increase. So when and where? Four of the main areas we look at when helping you pick a study abroad program are coursework, location, budget, and duration. And all of these can have an influence on each other. They're not really something that function independently. So coursework, we want to look at the classes that you need to take for your degree or your area of study. We need you to give us a list of those courses so we can help you find a program and match one that works best for your needs. So kind of your job in this process is to be familiar with and aware of what courses you need, what your course catalog is, and we expect you to come in having an idea of what kind of classes you would want to take when you go abroad. For location, that could be anywhere in the world, but it's also influenced by budget, which is also influenced by the duration. So in terms of budget, a location might be more expensive in one area than the other. So for example, some of our most expensive programs are in Australia, where you can spend a full semester, and I would say it would cost at least $15,000 for a semester minimum. But there's also programs that are really affordable, like Thailand, where their programs are a little under $10,000 for a full semester. And of course, with duration, a summer program is shorter than a full semester, so it is going to be more affordable. So we look at all these options and weigh them and help you pick a program. And really, I think when you're doing that soul searching process, you have to think about which areas are your priority, and that might help you come to terms with what program you want to go on and what location you might want to go to. So some of the top 10 locations in 2018, here they are. A lot of these are European countries, but increasingly we are definitely seeing interest in Asia, in Japan and Korea specifically, but our programs in Italy, Spain, France, United Kingdom, Australia, they're all very popular. So here I've listed UCF locations abroad. These are the top 10 student locations. So these are specifically programs that UCF students studied abroad on and the top 10 locations we send our students to. This list looks pretty similar to the previous slide, but we do have Peru and South Africa on here, which is really cool. And if you look at the bottom, actually, multi-destination programs ranked #1. So we do have some programs where they go to multiple destinations. It's not just in one country. So one example is our UCF in Europe, Taste of Europe program. So for hospitality students, they can go to different countries like Italy, Austria, France, and experience different cultures that way. So this is a really cool opportunity if it's something you're interested in as well. And these are a top 10 UCF majors of students who study abroad. Business is #1. We have a lot of good exchange programs for business majors. We have some short-term programs. All of these areas of study have different options for them, but these are the top 10 majors. So ones that you're thinking are more difficult perhaps, or you're wondering, is there something available for me? You can see health professionals are #5, psychology is on there, biomedical sciences. So there really are options for everybody. So the types of programs we offer at UCF are categorized into 4 main areas. We have our UCF In programs, semester exchanges, partner programs, and non-UCF programs. One of the big differences to highlight with these program types is the way financial aid works and credits. So the first 2 program types, UCF In programs and semester exchanges, are housed through our office, UCF. So that means you're going to be taking UCF credits. You're going to register through your My UCF account and just take those classes through UCF. And also financial aid, you can apply FAFSA. Usually you are able to apply any UCF scholarships you have. You can apply Bright Futures, Florida Prepaid. That's UCF programs versus partner programs and non-UCF programs. They're outside of UCF, so that involves transient credit, bringing in those credits from the universities abroad, and also that impacts financial aid. You typically cannot apply Bright Futures or Florida Prepaid. Usually you're only able to use FAFSA. So that's something else to keep in mind when you're trying to decide on a program type. And now I'll go through the different types and explain the differences about them. So UCF In programs, the majority of them are in the summer, but we also do have a few spring break options. There are short-term programs, and we also call them faculty-led. This is our most popular program type. I'd say about 70% of UCF students study abroad on one of these programs. It works well with their schedule. So usually less than 6 weeks in duration. You earn UCF credit anywhere from 1 to 9 credit hours. You pay UCF tuition, financial aid eligible, and it's faculty led. So that means that a UCF professor is going to lead you abroad. This is a good option for students who are looking for more of a guided experience, and perhaps if you're nervous because this is your first time going abroad and you really want that guidance there, you have a faculty leader with you. And also there's an organized itinerary, we organize the accommodations, everything like that. So it's definitely more structured than being a student who's an international student at a university studying abroad, which is more of what our other program types are. These programs are also not major specific, although there are recommended majors or minors for certain program types. So each of our programs starts with UCF In, and then it's a location. So like I mentioned, we have UCF in Europe, there's UCF in Italy, UCF in Germany, like those types of programs. They all have specific coursework associated with them. So it might be a language and culture program. So that might be better for students who need to fulfill foreign language requirement. Or there might be students who study hospitality, so they should do the Europe program. We also have a UCF in Peru cross-cultural psychology program. So that would probably be better for psych majors or minors. So we are here for you to advise you on those programs. Oliver and I are in charge of organizing those faculty-led programs. So this is just a list of some of the locations we offer our faculty-led programs in. UCF In programs the offerings do vary year to year because we accept proposals from faculty who want to lead the program abroad. So some faculty will offer the same program for consecutive years, and we offer it for a while, such as our Peru cross-cultural psychology. That program has been happening for quite some time now. UCF in Taiwan, Aging Society, which is geriatrics, and that program has been happening for a while, that faculty leader we've been working with. So it really depends on when you want to go abroad, and that changes from year to year. So definitely be on the lookout for those. We're always having new programs, sometimes keeping some old ones, and it's a rotating schedule in terms of those UCFN programs. So our next program type are exchanges. These are more of the typical study abroad you think of when you hear study abroad. It's reciprocal because we send a certain number of our students abroad, and we have partnerships with universities abroad who also agree to send a certain number of their students, and it should even out. So these are typically full semester, fall or spring, and we do have some summer options. So this involves UCF credits, taking full semester worth of classes, which is anywhere from 12 to 15 credit hours. You pay your normal UCF tuition. It's financial aid eligible. Like the UCF In program previously, you can use Bright Futures, FAFSA, prepaid. So that's one of the good things about doing a UCF program. You typically need a minimum of a 3.0 GPA, but that depends on the program. You need to be at least of junior standing, and that's referring to your credits, not necessarily what year you consider yourself to be in, and they are major or college specific. So that means that only certain colleges offer the exchange program, and that's because we've already had the courses pre-approved for exchange programs. They're all going to fulfill requirements that go towards your degree of study, and the reason for you being a junior is because it's upper level coursework. So we do have business programs, engineering programs, all kinds of different programs in different colleges. We're always adding more programs and hoping to increase the number of colleges represented. So as I mentioned before, Darren and Arvin are exchange coordinators. So these are the colleges that we have represented right now through exchange programs, and you can view these on our website. I'll give you a little bit of a tutorial on how to navigate our website at the end of the presentation. So with exchange programs, each college has a specific contact, and they act as the academic advisor who also will be the one who ultimately makes application decisions. So they'll look at your degree on it, they'll see your requirements. Some of them might require you to do an interview or to meet with them. I know that hospitality requires you to submit like a resume. So those are different requirements that colleges have, and you'll be working more closely with these contacts as you move forward with doing an exchange program, and they are aware of the courses that are being offered at the universities abroad. So you will be in touch with them at one point or another. So our next program type is called a partner program. I personally did a partner program, and that's because one of the benefits of partner programs is that they have the most flexibility, I would say. That's in terms of duration and budget and coursework. So as I said, I was an English major, which seems a little bit more difficult than other majors. So at the time, my university did not offer any courses that I needed, and I also, well, any courses I needed in the country I wanted to go to, which was Korea. So that's something to keep in mind. Partner programs offer more flexibility there. Also in terms of short term or semester, they have like winter or J term programs, they have summer, they have fall, spring break, like all of those options. They're a lot more flexible. They offer study abroad opportunities, but they also offer internship opportunities, which I'll mention a little bit later. But on the left side of the screen, these are some of the companies we work with. There's more partners than this, but a partner program is essentially a program that's offered through one of our partners, which are third-party companies we work with outside of UCF who specialize in study abroad opportunities. What makes these different from our UCF programs too is that they're open to students anywhere throughout the United States. So for my CIEE program, I studied abroad with a group of students who went to different universities in the US, California, New York, Minnesota, really all over the place, and I made these friendships and we visit each other still. So I think that's a cool experience. And also, I didn't mention this, but similar to an exchange program with a partner program, typically it's a more traditional experience in that you're acting as like an international student for a semester at that university. It's a little bit less guided than a UCF In program because there is an itinerary. You have your course schedule like you do at UCF. You have free time on the weekends usually, but you do have on-site staff or people who have offices on site at the university or maybe locally who are there to guide you, organize orientation programs, all of that kind of stuff, and they're there to assist you as needed, but it is more of an independent process. So with partner programs, there is a dual application process, and what that means is that you need to apply through our website first, studyabroad.ucf.edu, meet with us, get your courses approved, and then you will also have to apply through the partner program's actual website. We typically advise you to wait on applying through them until you've already met with us and picked out your program first, but there are two applications. The partner program application, theirs is a lot more thorough than ours because they ask for things like a copy of your transcript. They ask for you to submit like the courses you'd like to take. Usually there's some statements, academic history questions, all of that kind of stuff. So the big difference to highlight with the partner programs is that it's not UCF tuition, it's transfer coursework. So you will be a transient student, which means that you'll be taking courses abroad and transferring those credits back into UCF. There's a course approval process, which we'll go over once you've decided you want to do a partner program, and we have some documents and resources going over how that works. But basically, you need to pick courses abroad that are similar to the ones you have here and get them approved by academic advisors on campus to determine whether they're equivalent and they can transfer back to UCF or not. So with partner programs, I mainly advise on Asia programs. I would say the Education Abroad Network, their Summer in Seoul, South Korea program is very popular with UCF students. So is CIS Abroad Summer in Japan. It's a Japan language study program, Japanese language study, and there's a culture class as well, whereas Summer in Seoul has a lot more interdisciplinary type courses as well as language. So there's really a lot of opportunities there. UCF students typically prefer a summer program over a full semester, but that's definitely an option that we have for you and that we love for students to participate in. So other non-UCF programs are FSU programs or out-of-state schools or direct enroll. So you can, not just FSU, other Florida state schools. So FSU, UF, any Florida schools that are part of the state university system, you're eligible to participate on them. You can apply to them, but it's similar to the partner program where we recommend you apply on our website, meet with us first, then you apply to them. But a big part of this application is called Florida Shines. So similar to the course approval process with partner programs, except you need to go online via the Florida Shine system. They use a common course curriculum across all Florida state universities, and it's all online, so it makes it a lot easier, and there's no application fee. The other good benefit with that is that usually with Florida state schools, you can use things like Bright Futures because you are going through a Florida state school program. The last option, but not typically recommended, is direct enroll programs. We don't really recommend this because it's a full application process and you must be fully admitted to the school as if you're a new student. You have to use the UCF transient form and go through that whole course approval process, but it's also not a program that we necessarily work with or that's approved through our office. So that would be more of an independent process, and there's no guarantee that your classes will transfer back, that you'll have financial aid apply. Those are all risks that are involved with a direct enroll program. So lastly, there are internship opportunities for you. You can do an internship abroad. I'd say it's typically 6 to 8 weeks and usually in the summer. So this is a highly customizable experience. We match your desired destination with work experience. It's not a traditional internship in the fact that you're not really competing with other students for big name companies. It's more of a customizable experience. You're getting more hands-on experience with smaller companies, and they're typically unpaid. So it means that it's going to be relevant experience, and you're going to definitely be doing things that are helpful for you to put on your resume, but also to help you learn more about the industry you want to get into. There are work and study options available, but usually we recommend you focus more on one than the other because I think it would be difficult to study abroad, want to travel, have free time, but also balance a full working schedule and a study schedule. We also collaborate with experiential learning on campus to arrange it for variable credits. So you can earn UCF credits, which might be good if you have specific internship requirements for your area of study. And we usually will go through a partner program or a combination of both. We determine that based on what works best for you and what works best for your situation. So it's more about working with a partner company who helps place you. They will essentially act as your advocate, put your resume out there, help schedule Skype interviews with the partners abroad, and ultimately it's up to you to choose which company you want to work for. It's not really them choosing you, so to speak. So it's more about making the opportunity work for you, but also asking you to be more flexible and have an open mind about what kind of opportunities or companies you're looking for. So what's next? The next step is to fill out something we have called the interest form. We actually have it digitally online now through Qualtrics. It's essentially a questionnaire survey. So this is the best tool to schedule an advising appointment with one of our advisors and to make sure you get paired with the best advisor for your needs. So this form will include things like, oh, what's your major, how many credit hours you have, and what country you want to study in, like what kind of location you're looking at, desired coursework, and lastly, most importantly, is your appointment availability. So they, in the form, it lets you choose what times and days, what type of appointment you want. So that's helpful, and it gets emailed directly to us. So you can fill out this online form on our website, and I'll show you our website in a few moments. So on our website, there's also useful things like financial aid, who you can contact, and some of the scholarships that are available. Once you've selected a program, we encourage you to work with Carissa and to email her at sfastudyabroad@ucf.edu to schedule an appointment. She specifically works with study abroad financial aid questions. As I mentioned, there are other resources available on our website. Under scholarships and finances, there's a drop down for UCF scholarship opportunities and external. The point to make here is that UCF scholarships can only be applied to UCF In and exchange programs. These are offered through UCF. So we have something like the eBay scholarship. All of those are available just for these types of programs. External can be applied to most, if not all, programs, and these are scholarships offered outside of UCF. So here, I'm just going to highlight some of the scholarships that our office is really working closely with. We're advising on the Benjamin A. Gilman International Scholarship, which is a prestigious scholarship through the U.S. Department of State. Oliver is actually our advisor. So we're here to look at your essays when you're ready to start applying and come up with any helpful information that you might need and to advise you through that process. We also offer workshops, so if you follow us on social media or check our website calendar of events, we do offer those resources as well for you. There's awards up to $5,000 that can be used towards the cost of your study abroad experience or international programs. There's also the added bonus of a critical need language award. So that award is given to students who participate and take foreign language classes in countries for languages that are considered of critical need to the US. So if you visit Gilman's website, they have that listed on there. There's also the Freeman Asia, which is actually a scholarship I received when I studied abroad in Korea. So this is specifically for Asian countries, for students who have demonstrated financial need. And the awards are listed here. For the summer, you can get up to $3,000, for a semester up to $5,000, for a full year up to $7,000. So you can apply on our website to any of our study abroad programs. We usually recommend you apply once you've already met with an advisor in our office to make sure you've picked the program that you feel is right for you. And then lastly, I want to give a shout out to the UCF Global Ambassador Program. We have a Global Ambassador Program who mostly works with our incoming exchange students. So we really encourage students who have been abroad who want to share their experience after or want to still keep with like an international community when they come home at UCF to join this RSO that our office works with. So you can expand your network with other UCF students who have studied abroad, share your experience with the UCF community, and engage with students from all around the globe. You can email ucfglobalap@gmail.com to apply. And Arvin in our office, he also works with the Global Ambassador Program, so he'd be more than happy to answer some of your questions as well. And lastly, follow us on social media. We're not active on Twitter, but we use Instagram and Facebook and try to post on there regularly. So definitely follow us there to see student pictures, testimonials, and events, but also scholarship information. We like to announce it on there as well. And this is our website. So I'll give you a little tutorial on how to navigate our website. So let me bring that up. So our website is just studyabroad.ucf.edu. So this is our homepage. If you scroll down, we have announcements on here. This is our calendar of events. So any events that we have going on that you can RSVP to is here. And also the dates and times are located here. So some of the things I mentioned were down here, but I'll start here. The Start Here tab is a good resource when you're just getting started on the process. You're doing the Study Abroad 101 session already, but this is where you can access the student interest form, and I'll link you right there so you can fill that out. Next Steps is a good tool to compare the different program types I talked about, and also more about them if you need more details and who to contact. All of that is available on here. The FAQ is also helpful. I actually just updated this recently, so any of your commonly asked questions, I encourage you to give this a quick read through, see if there's anything on here that you have a question about that might be answered on here. Scholarships and finances, if you just click on here, this is the main information about how the process works, but these are where those scholarships are that I mentioned: UCAF program, UCF scholarship opportunities, and then external scholarships. Here, the partner programs we work with, they all have their own scholarships available too, which is good to be aware of. And we do have a deal with teens specifically where they can offer you a discount. So definitely look into the scholarship opportunities available, and that's something that we can talk to you more about once we meet with you. Other things to highlight. There's information here on international health and safety. Documents and resources is useful. This is something I encourage you to look at. If you're having problems with like applying on our website or anything like that, we do have guides on here, things like how to upload a copy of your passport. There's the application process. This is a guide that I made that is very helpful if you're having any like technical problems with our website. If you have any questions, this shows you how to apply with screenshots, so that's useful to take a look at. This is all the partner program resources, which we will fill out that paperwork and help you if that's the type of program you want to do here. But this gives you a good overview, and then also this is how to complete the process if you want to know more about this. We've done partner program workshops in the past, as you can see on this slide here. So if that's something you'd be interested in, definitely email us or be on the lookout for events like that. We have an overview of the exchange program process and just like general resources that would be helpful to you when going abroad. Also, the Meet Our Team page might be useful for you if you want to see what areas our specialty is in, where we're advising, and you can send us an email here, and we have our phone numbers listed on here as well. Okay. So thank you for tuning in today. If you have any other questions or something I didn't cover, feel free to send us an email. Our email is studyabroad@ucf.edu, or you can just complete an interest form, and that's the best way to get started. Thank you. Bye. I also forgot to mention real quick on our website, the way to navigate the study abroad programs we have is on the programs tab. So if you take a look here, everything is alphabetical. If you see an acronym like AIFS, API, these are partner programs, whereas Gold Star programs mean that you can apply UCF financial aid, which is like Bright Futures. These are UCF programs, so those start by major for exchanges like business exchange, communications, and also our UCF In programs start with a U. So if you scroll down, those are closer to the bottom. Right now we don't have them active, so you can't see them, but they start UCF In. And the other thing worth mentioning is if you hit program type and scholarship, these are the scholarships you can apply to through our website, offered through our office. So be sure to check those out as well. Thank you.